Top, top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you. Whammo. Welcome to late night. Why is this doing this? All right, my bad. I forgot I had another browser up. But welcome to late night shift with your Whammo, man. I'm driving out the bando right now, but I will definitely be moving this to the studio. But for right now, I definitely want to just tap in with everybody from the house. So I forgot. I was actually supposed to make some tea. So if you on here, you ain't doing nothing. So you just hold up a second. So yeah, like I said, welcome to late night shift with your boy Mo. This is episode number 3. So I had this in my mind, brilliant idea to go ahead and start doing these episodes because I wanted to do a late night platform anyway. I did one episode and I liked the episode, but I don't be feeling like going up to the studio getting everything set up. So we're gonna run everything out the bando for now. It is what it is. But we're talking music tonight. I'm gonna run out of here again and go get my tea in about 2.5 seconds, but I'll be right back. So hold your horses, don't complain, act like y'all got some patience and some cool points on you. You feel me? And from the sound of my voice, how it sound to me, I'm gonna need it. But anyway, we're talking all things music. Kanye, Kendrick, Drake, RnB, all of those things. And so I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really be in the mix like that. I don't be in the mix like that. So some things, even though I am a fan, like for example, I don't even know the name of it, but Drake had dropped like a 3-piece. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. But I stuck in there and I checked it out. Now it turns out a majority of the music I had already heard. So I will say that. But I'm a person, I have to keep myself in the know because I get caught up in working and doing different stuff that I won't be in the know, especially about things music. I'm an R&B guy. That's something we're supposed to be getting to at the end for sure. But I'm just letting you know, I like rap, and rap is cool with me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against it, but primarily I am an R&B guy, and so I got my thoughts on the Drake and Kendrick thing. Is Kendrick? We already know how Kendrick gonna do. He's a great performer. I'm gonna give him that. I got some admissions about the GNX album. Yeah, man, we're gonna get into it. I'm actually about to go grab my tea. Don't act like y'all too good, you too bougie, because if you didn't don't hear you ain't got nothing going anyway, kinfolk. So wait 30 seconds, I'm gonna get my tea. All right. Got me a little throat coat. Pause. The tea is called throat coat. And I don't know why I be throwing this hoodie on and it be hot. So we're gonna take this hoodie out too. All right. So anyway, we have Kanye. So recently, I'm texting somebody. 1 second. All right, so we have Kanye first off the rip here. So I'm listening to Rory and Mal, and they say that Kanye has this admission that he's autistic, right? So the first question for any of you who have been familiar with the antics of Kanye, you know, there's not much that we haven't heard from him in the last few years that doesn't make sense, to be honest. If you look at Kanye, the first thing that came to my mind when I heard him say that he was autistic, and for those of you who may be, you know, if you're new in the chat, whatever, just let me know who in here. I ain't gonna pick on you, and then I just want to know. But you know, I think back to that documentary that Cuddy or Kudo or Kato, whatever the dude's name was, when we watched that Netflix documentary, and I thought about the way his mom was talking to him when, you know, it was like, you know, just kind of like talking to like a 5-year-old kid kind of vibes, like, hey, buddy, hey, you know, it started making sense to me that Kanye would actually be autistic versus, you know, even though I still believe he's definitely bipolar, at the end of the day, you can't get me to believe. I'll say it like this because I want to be respectful to that community. I have a little brother, not my blood brother, but I have a little brother who is autistic. And he struggled at times to read the room. But you can't get me to believe that he ain't got some other stuff going on up there, right? Like I just said, the way his mom talked to him, it's a big sense of ego that he has. And I think that when you don't know how to relate to people, like I don't take for a joke the things that Kanye has done, right? If you talk about like him staring off and he's smiling like he's thinking about something, then he stops smiling, it's like, bro, that's not something that we got to take lightly here. And so, in my personal opinion, it makes sense to me. I think that was the first thing that crossed my mind, is the fact that he did that. His mom, like I said, the hey big boy, all that stuff. It's like, you're a giant, you know. His mom was an educator. If you think about a lot of these, bro. Hey, Hashi, my boy Hashi. No cap. And I say this a lot to one of my partners, bro. I say this a lot. I'll be like, say, bro, a lot of people is not well. A lot of people are thrown off. And Kanye just so happens to be one of those guys. This is the problem, as I was thinking about this, right? As I'm putting together notes for the show, and I'm thinking, this is the biggest issue that we run into with Kanye, is that when you don't produce, especially in the Black community, it's a lot of things that we can give you grace for, but you can't talk about how much of a genius you are and then fall off a map lyrically, musically, production wise. Now, I'm not saying that Kanye don't make dope beats or nothing like that, but seriously, when's the last time Kanye had a hit that you can think of? That's gonna be the first thing. Kanye, your brilliance gets lost in mediocrity at some point. Right? And it's like, we got to think, like, Kanye became innovative because, you know, the backpacks, you know, the pink polos, you know, he act like he liked black girls, you know, all of that stuff. And at the end of the day, none of that stuff was actually who Kanye was. Do I think he's a creative? Yes. Do I think he has levels of brilliance? Yes. But to operate in society, if you think about any great mind, any brilliant mind, yes, they had innovative ideas, but they struggled a lot to deal with people relationally. They struggled a lot to actually exist around other human beings, right? And so what ends up happening, you either, if you've ever seen a movie called A Brilliant Mind, it was about this guy who was, he knew all these equations, all of this stuff, but he had these alter egos or these spirits or whatever that he dealt with the whole time. At some point, he realized that he couldn't take the medication because it was going to take away from how brilliant he was. But in reality, he had to learn to fight demons a different way. For Kanye, I just find it very hard to believe that that's the same great mind and innovative forward thinker that we were dealing with the college dropout and graduation, all of these things. I guess, and let me make sure I'm staying to my notes. I guess my question was Kanye's inflated ego the greatest trick that he ever pulled on us? Kanye's ability to sell us on things is what made us actually believe in him in the first place. Does that mean he didn't make great artists as a rapper? I mean, great music as an artist? No. But at some point, it just didn't connect, right? You know, we always knew something wasn't quite spinning up there with Kanye, but that didn't stop him from still putting out music. You know, prime example, I'll never forget when Yeezus dropped. People were trying to argue me down that Yeezus was a dope album, and I'm saying sonically it is garbage. All these loud noises, and Kanye did a great job of having us ahead of the curve. A lot of the times, what makes you great is your ability to sell yourself and make people believe that it's great. But at some point, it has to translate. Kanye has done a terrible job of allowing what he does to translate. So is he autistic? Probably. Is he bipolar? More than likely he is. you can't get me to believe that. But is it the same great mind that gave us? And mind you, if I'm being honest, there's a lot of stuff that I could say that I love Kanye for. I personally was kind of on the tail end of 808s and Heartbreaks and that whole genre era that Kanye ushered in from there to probably Life of Pablo. Now you can sell me on a lot of great things on Life of Pablo that you can't sell me on from 808s and Heartbreak and all of that stuff. And I typically am going to go against the grain on a lot of that stuff. It is what it is. You know, I think the thing about Kanye too that we got to realize is that the American dream isn't really as glamorous as we would like to make it seem in some instances. Kanye has lived the American dream. He married a white woman. He married two of them. He made a whole bunch of money, lied about it, lied about how much he actually had, his net worth. We see what happened with the Adidas deal. And what's the last thing on here? Oh, and then he went Christian. Now, mind you, I'm a believer, so I'm not talking down on being Christian, but I'm saying Kanye had just came off of all of the crazy stuff that he had dealt with, and then he went Christian. And that is a play that a lot of people make when they are trying to salvage their reputation. And we fell for it. I just went and listened, and here's the struggle, right? Because when you talk about being a believer, you judge a fruit by the tree it bears. You judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Cool. We also can't just look at somebody and say that they're not walking what they're talking. But Kanye music don't sound nothing like Sunday service. It don't sound nothing like certain parts of Donda. You sold us a dream, my boy. And I don't really know how I feel about it. You know, it's like I hate that we become the sideshow for people's road to redemption. And we do it within our own community. So like the boy Hashi said, it's a lot of guys that's on the spectrum, and we start to see it. It's actually quite evident. And a lot of it, like I said earlier, is a bunch of inflated ego. It's a lot of people trying to sell us dreams that really ain't true. Kanye led with so much bravado, and I love it, but you can't miss. You can't miss when it. Now, you did everything you said you was gonna do. Traded all in for a white girl, all that stuff. That's cool. Not hating on you. But the least you're gonna do, it's like Tom Brady, right? Tom Brady really was a butthole of a person. But what did he always do? For the most part, he won. I barely hear people talk about Patrick Mahomes' voice anymore. Because what? You can't deny winners. One thing this country does is it loves a winner. So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I'm not mad at Kanye. I'm disappointed because, you know, this was the same guy who was talking about building cities and different things like that. And it's like, now I know people, I done been called a bunch of names. I guess I'm just trying to filter through how do you handle that? Because like I done been called names, but if it was between my actual sanity and living this lucid dream of brilliance, I don't know where would you want to stand in that? He's been true in a lot of things that he said. So I don't know. Next on the docket, though, because at the end of the day, Kanye's situation is Kanye's situation. It ain't much that we can add or take away from it. It's something that Kev on stage said earlier that I agree with is I think people are also at a point with Kanye where it's kind of like, all right, bro, you good. Like, you got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cool. Like, all right, bro. Drop the album. Say something crazy to try to get traction. See, that's another thing, too. It's like the boy who cries wolf, right? And crying wolf doesn't always have to mean like something's wrong. It could just mean you just being loud. We all know about the kid that wanted so much attention in class, and the way that we got him to shut up is to stop giving him attention. So at least give us something that gives us a reason to pay attention. Quality music. As far as we know, him and Jay-Z don't have much of a relationship like that. They don't rock. You know, it's kind of hard. It's like if my own little brother went on stage before disappearing and they said I had a mental breakdown and I come back and my hair is bleached and all of this stuff, right? So I'm just painting a picture here. If my own brother said certain things about me on stage, don't send your people after me, even if it was a mental episode, right? I can't risk you having another mental episode. Not at my expense, even if it's true. So that's kind of my thing with Kanye is like, you got to produce, especially for our community. Because I don't care what other communities would like to say about Kanye, we put you on the map, as we often do. And that kind of goes into what we were talking about yesterday. Black people move the culture. So if we say Kanye hot, he hot. That's what's going to make mainstream America want to listen to you. And all that stuff was cute. You storming the stage. You got away with a lot of that stuff. It don't fly no more. The whole DEFCON 5 and all that stuff is cute until it ain't. Now you left with, these evaluations and that stuff don't fly. But anyway, moving on. We got Kendrick, we got Drake. Now I'm not doing the prototypical thing. I've never talked about it on my platform, but we got Kendrick and we got Drake. I have an admission to start this off. Yeah, I concede admission. When I first listened to GNX, I was at work. I never forget it. I was on 4809 I was on 4803. I listened to it and it don't matter. The numbers don't matter. I'm just setting the scene. I'm listening to the album and I'm like, okay, cool. This is trash. Yeah, this GNX album is trash. I liked Squabble Up. I liked TV Off. I liked all the stuff that was going to be typically commercial hit, and that's all I could care for to get into with my boy Kendrick. Because listen, I think he has one certified can't miss album. Good Kid, Mad City. Certified can't miss fire. At this point, I can't tell you that there's another album that I could say that I'm in love with from Kendrick. Good Kid, Mad City. Raise my hand. I'm the president of that club. There's a Pimp a Butterfly. Stop it. Whatever else. Oh, what was the other album? Damn. I actually like Damn. I went back and listened, and I'm like, I could listen to it. But I think for me, as smart as I think I am, I can only stomach so much. Listen to the album backwards. You got to really put your thinking cap on. I'm a person that I think so much. When I put something on to listen to, I actually want to just listen to, enjoy it. I don't want to decode the matrix. I don't want to try to figure out what's wrong with America. I don't need music to figure that out. I don't need to figure out how to fix the plight of the black man. That's just not my bag, fam. Just being honest. But I have to say, and shout out to my boy Cash, he's standing on business. He's standing on 100% business with his take. So shout out to my boy Cash for that. But I was absolutely wrong about GNX. I'll start this off humbly saying this is probably my number 2 album for Kendrick behind Good Kid, Mad City. That's my honest take. The only song off that album I absolutely am skipping every single time is Reincarnated. You gotta stop glazing Tupac, my boy. And that's just with all due respect. Stop. Take his zipper, zip it back up, buckle his pants, let that man go, live in infamy. Here's the thing. See, because I now, if you're going to piss somebody off, you might as well just go for the gusto. Does Tupac's music really age that well? Because I said this on another platform. Another show off the platform. For there to be so much love, and I'm not saying that Tupac didn't shape how Kendrick viewed music or how he rapped or what type of artist he was or any of that. But I really want people to start telling me how often they really putting Pac in the deck these days. In all seriousness, all jokes aside, how often are we listening to Tupac these days, guys? Dear Mamas and the Machiavelli. A lot of how we feel about things are based off of where we were at the time. And the crazy thing is, I remember hearing Bomb First and all of these songs from Tupac. I don't care if I didn't know him when he was with Underground, whatever, Digital Underground or whatever. I loved Tupac like anybody else. But if I had a choice, I'm probably going to listen to 444. I'm going to listen to the Black Album. I'm going to listen to the Volume, the Life and Times. I'm going to listen to all of those albums before I listen to a Tupac album. I'm not trying to be whatever the term may be for people, this is how I really be feeling about stuff. And I get it. Tupac's a crown jewel. And he wore a nose ring. And he had Thug Life on his stomach. And I get all of that stuff. Blah, 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 fam. I'm listening to a bunch of other music before that. So that's all I'm saying. If you love Tupac, cool. I don't hate him. I'm just not listening like that. Cool. To be honest, I'd rather listen to 2 Chainz these days. I'm sorry. And I ain't gonna lie, I probably ain't really bumping 2 Chainz like that because I feel like he kind of fell off. But anyway, I digress. We get back to GNX. I just think overall, I think anything with him and SZA is a bop, personally. But Luther is a bop. Gloria is a bop. Heart Part 6, it's a go. Matter of fact, let me pull up the track list. I ain't even gonna hate like that, or I ain't hating anyway. I'm saying what people who know me would be surprised to hear. Okay, Whacked Out Murals is cool. I'm actually not gonna skip it, even though I'm not super in love with it. Squabble Up, I'm listening to. Luther, I'm listening to. Man at the Garden is background music. I'm cool with that. Hey Now, I'm listening to. I am absolutely skipping Reincarnated. TV Off, I'm absolutely banging. Dodger Blue, I'm absolutely banging. Peekaboo, I'm absolutely banging. Heart Part 6, I'm listening to that. I'm listening to GNX, the whole 30 minutes of it. And Gloria. I gotta see if, and I wish there was a few people on here who know my takes. I am not a man who is afraid to admit that I was wrong. And for this album, I was wrong. It is one of his better albums. I kudos to Kendrick. This is one of his better albums, in my opinion. And I'm not a huge Kendrick fan like that. I think a lot of the stuff, even with the beef and all of that stuff, was very overplayed. Y'all did a lot. Y'all did a lot with some of them songs. I just think that I think it's interesting that we live in a culture where we could potentially be lying and it's cool because we just trying to destroy the other person. You shouldn't get cool points for just flat out lying. It's a true statement to say where there's smoke, there's fire, but it's a whole nother thing to try to just make it be true, something negative to destroy somebody's character, career, whatever. It's like, yeah, I get it. It's music. But I couldn't walk into my job and say, hey, this dude here be raping women and he be messing with young girls. And you can't do that nowhere else. So I just personally don't care for the idea that we can fabricate lies, that we could just fabricate any story to either sell records, which I know that's a large part of it. But we ain't talking about me saying I went and committed B&Es and, I did a bunch of armed robberies. That's different than saying, hey, this dude, he raped people or he's whatever. Like, that's too much smut for me, fam. But if you're going to give us quality music, then I'm going to rock with it. Not the lies. I'm going to rock with what you're giving me. With music, with politics, even typically sports, I'm not going to lie, the Mavericks pissed me off, but I've moved on. Now, if AD is out for the year already after getting hurt in the first game, I'm really going to be pissed. But that's neither here nor there. I'm a pretty objective person is the point. I'm pretty objective. So I'll tell you what it is. I won't, I have nothing to gain by standing 10 toes down and hating on Kendrick for an album that is pretty solid. It's pretty solid in my book. All that other stuff, the Pulitzer stuff, I think a lot of that stuff is overplayed, to be honest. I think it's just stuff that people love to do. It's like a little handout to the community. It's like, oh, here you go. Here's your Pulitzer. It's like, oh, awesome. Where am I going to put this at? Is it like a ribbon or something? I don't know. That stuff is overdone. But anyway, so yes, like I said, GNX, phenomenal album that I personally like. Cash would probably say I'm, glazing or something. I don't know. And my only critique is, please don't make another song as an ode to Tupac where you're trying to rap like him and the beat sounds, it's just weird, bro. And that's my honest opinion. It's just weird. Stop it, Kendrick. Can't take it no more. So tomorrow we have Kendrick. Let me sip a little tea, kinfolk. So tomorrow we have Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl. I've personally seen Kendrick perform, when he was on his Big Morale and the Big Steppers or whatever that album is called that wasn't very good. He's a great performer. So I'll give him credit for that. So not shocked or surprised by him actually getting his turn, right? Does it matter to the modern not RnB, does it matter to the modern hip hop fan that Drake turned down the Super Bowl a few times and Kendrick has his shine? Does it matter to anybody except me that no matter how great of a rapper that we see Kendrick as, I can't help but see that you got so much of your clout from hating on this man over here. Does that matter to anybody? I forgot the name of the song. Well, I forgot the name of the actual song that he won the Grammy for or whatever. Cool. I can't hate because Drake didn't he went number one with back to back. So we can't. It was good for the goose is good for the gander. You actually one upped him and literally won a Grammy for a diss track. That's dope. But enough. Once again, if it was lies, it doesn't matter. I guess I would like to think that I created something in my own mind that justified or warranted me winning something prestigious. Some of the things that I kind of got into yesterday concerning their beef overall is we're still having slave-like battles with like Drake and Kendrick, right? Kendrick's from the inner city. He's considered a house nigga. I mean, a field nigga, right? He's dark. He's from the inner city. Grew up rough, all of that. Drake, who has a black parent, is less white, is less black because of his hue, where he grew up at, and the type of music that he makes, the way he talks. Because I don't know many black people from Canada, not because I just don't know no black people from Canada. Everything about him is less valid because he didn't grow up a certain way. And here's the issue. We've known for years that most of the rappers in the industry are lying. They're also homosexuals. Counterproductive, counterintuitive, counter of what we consider rap culture to be. But Kendrick is more certified because of things that we fight against ourselves. White people don't get the ability to have different hues and shades of what they are. They're just pale and paler. Like, that's just reality. But I get to say, you're not black enough, bro. Your mama and your daddy ain't black. You didn't grow up in the hood. It's like we be trying to bash each other for the stupidest reasons possible. And that's what I don't appreciate about the whole Kendrick and Drake saga to begin with. So, to me, I never knew that Drake turned down the Super Bowl. You don't get paid for it. But the exposure is second to none. There's no other sport in the world that's going to give you the exposure like the Super Bowl. But how much more exposure do you need if you're Kendrick or Drake or Beyonce or any of these people? If anything, it's a rite of passage. Prince performed, Mike performed. So it becomes a rite of passage for being the who's who of artists and performers that get to hit that stage. Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a dope accomplishment. I just believe that at the end of the day, it's kind of weird that we gloss over something that another artist had the same opportunity to do. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Somebody to get him a Grammy right now. It's like, ooh, burn. It's like I feel like sometimes black culture is very, very high school. It's like, hey man, that's dope if he really got a Grammy for this song. But who cares? I mean, like, seriously, like, y'all are more lit about him getting a Grammy for a song where he dissed Drake for 3 straight. Well, the last one was kind of on some different stuff, but anyway, 3 straight verses. Then when he actually won something that is to be really warranted, like winning a Pulitzer, they don't just hand those out. You can mistakenly get a Grammy you can mistakenly make a popular song and get a Grammy. You don't mistakenly get Pulitzers. That's like us talking about how we make fun of black people for like, oh, look at him, he talk proper, or oh, look, he got a house, look at him. Oh, we'll bite our nose to spite our face. So, with that being said, he said some things that ended up, said something about the Super Bowl. Bigger than the Super Bowl. So we know that. Then he gets the Super Bowl. Kendrick just opened his mouth. He wins a Grammy. You're 2 for 2, right? Does that mean that we can officially say that Drake is cooked? Can we say that Drake is being slow roasted and marinated in a crock pot right now? Because at the beginning of this, at the intermediate of it, the big belief was that Drake is done. I believe the reality is he's far from done. Party Next Door and Drake collab coming on February 14th. Oh, and he's putting snippets out, and they sound like sheer bangers. And there's not too many songs that Party Next Door and Drake got out right now that ain't bangers. So, what a time to be alive. Whatever that monstrosity was that he did with 21 Savage, that I'm Jumbotron Poppin' was my jump. That was probably the only song I really actually liked on there. And 21 went nowhere on that song. So, but we kind of can start arguing that. And I know people are going to act like I'm trying to be very cutesy, very demure here, but let's say this album goes number 1 on Valentine's Day. Can we then say that Drake is one of the greatest collab artists of all time? Because a lot of y'all love that mess he did with 21. I personally think What a Time to Be Alive is not just something. My argument, it's kind of like my argument with Jay-Z, right? My argument with Jay-Z is that it's not that he hasn't made timeless music. He made a lot of music that was great for his time, though. And if y'all would stop, he said he doesn't make timeless music. I didn't say that. It's not that he doesn't make timeless music. It's that he made a lot of music that was great for its time. So, in my opinion, What a Time to Be Alive definitely represented a lot of things about the culture, the strip club culture, all of that type of stuff that was dope for that time. But that must still roll for real. So if him and Party Next Door produce a number 1 banger, what do we say about that? And moving forward, that also means that you can't tell me that his greatest work is yet to come. Whatever this solo album is about to be. He made reference to this. I think that what happened, if anything, because we can't deny how dope an artist Drake has been. We can't deny how great a rapper Drake has been. See, as much as people want to say like, oh yeah, he's an artist, he's a pop artist, blah, 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 blah. All true. He still has rapped many niggas under a table. I was waiting on you at the door. So we can get into the weeds about a lot of this stuff, but the reality still remains the same. Drake has put out albums that were rapping albums, or that he's put out rap singles that did what they do. And you can't argue with that. All this fame for Kendrick, not hating on it, not that's cool. All the love that Kendrick is getting is well deserved. But we're not gonna act like Drake ain't been doing this for 10 years now, 10 plus years now. So my answer to that is no. If anything, it is what's gonna happen. Because see, this is what's gonna happen. And yes, I'm a Drake fan, obviously, but I'm a realist. I just sat here and spent 5 minutes talking about how much I like GNX. I'm also a realist. What's gonna happen is that Drake is gonna maneuver the storm. He's gonna weather the storm of the Grammy, the #1 hit. You know, this #1 hit's been #1 for 30 weeks. This is a record for all of this. And he's going to earn another 10 years of staying power. And then I want to know at that point who was the best. Because at the end of the day, y'all only really care about those things. Y'all showing, it's the false like, oh man, all love is, all love for, Kendrick and Drake. You can love them both. That's not how human beings are. Somebody got to be #1. Somebody got to be the top dog. No pun intended. And it appears that Drake is either going to tuck his tail and become an R&B artist, or he's going to come back with something. And I am betting $1 to a dime that what he does come back with, upper echelon. Upper echelon. Period. And if I'm wrong, cool. We'll talk about it. I got a co-worker said his Ty is texting me. But so who won and who lost? Who won and who lost? We got Drake, we got Kendrick. Who lost? I would say Jermaine Cole lost. Because at the end of the day, there are people who will tell you that Drake should have never for 1 second took the bait and stepped into that ring to box with somebody who people always believe was a better, greater rapper, artist, whatever adjective you want to use to describe what they do with words. There are people who believe he should have never accepted the challenge, even though rap is a competitive sport. So Jermaine Cole, J. Cole, and sidebar, the fall off better be amazing. I personally think it will be. But the fall off better be the greatest thing we've heard this side of whatever was hot. I don't know. I don't really, like I said, I'm an R&B guy. But J. Cole pretty much is the guy that, your homeboy slap you and y'all start slap boxing and y'all, boom, and he hit you with a ooh, and he walk off like, what? Hey, dog. Hey, chill out. You know what I'm saying? Chill out. It almost got rough. Or he get punched and then it's like, no, that's it, man, that's it. You tricked us. You hit us with the okie doke, the old 4 deuce faker. Yeah, you. All right, dog. It could have got rough for you, and then you come back and say you would have won the battle, but you would have lost a friend. You would have won the battle, but you would have lost a friend. I'm sorry. I'll take what Drake did any day over what J. Cole did. You have, like, not to mention for the last year and a half, the year and a half before this happened, you were murdering features, talking about how you was the greatest. Ain't nobody stepped on you yet. And then you let one song change that whole trajectory. The winner and the loser. The winners and the loser are just obvious to me. So, with that being said, we move right along. So, as I told you guys, I am an R&B fan. I am not. I mean, I like rap. Don't get me wrong. If I had a chance, I wanted to focus on making sure that I had my favorite groups and my top 5 artists, right? But if I would have had a chance, if I cared enough, I would have said something about my favorite rap artists. But it's not a big deal. So with that being said, my top, and I only picked 2 because I don't got time to be thinking about 1,001 groups, right? Like at the end of the day, and I've got a lot of flack for this. My favorite all-time R&B group is Jagged Edge. Argue with your mama. I don't care how you feel about it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to hate it. Whatever, right? And I could have thrown a couple, you know what? And I'll throw Mint Condition in there as another group that I really like. But Jagged Edge and Day 26 are my 2 probably all-time favorite R&B groups. I could argue with you that in the shortest amount of time, no group has put out as many just straight fire bangers than Day 26 has. And most people don't even remember Day 26 because that was Diddy's band that he screwed. No pun intended. But if we talking Day 26, Jagged Edge, I'll take them in any day of the week. Most people are going to say this one particular group as the combative, like, nah, you can't forget about them. And that's Jodeci. But here's the reality about Jodeci. The same knock that Jagged Edge gets is the same knock that Jodeci should get, which is what? Their music sound alike. All of their music sounds alike. I don't care who you are. If you've listened to enough Jodeci, their music all sound alike. So if we're gonna argue that Jagged Edge music all sounds alike, then guess what? I'm gonna tell you, kinfolk, Jodeci music all sound alike. Can you argue that they're a greater group? Sure, I guess, whatever. They were more popular. They introduced something. Okay, I'll give you this. We had not seen, now if you talk about Boyz II Men, I get it. I'm down on bending knee. We come to the end of the road. Uptown Philly back, all that, I get it. But Boyz II Men is the Michael Bublé of R&B groups. That's just what it is. And I'm not saying that they aren't great. You know, on bending knee, all that stuff was amazing. Don't get me wrong. But they were and let me be clear, they operated in excellence. Let's be clear. Nobody probably was more crisp and on key and all of that stuff. Mama, like, hey, that's the song I dedicated to my granny kid, folk, when I was a kid. You feel me? But Boyz II Men, cool. We can put them to the side. New Edition was before my time. But if we talking about that made me feel something, Jagged Edge all day long, all day strong, kinfolk. Pause. It is what it is. See, I remember, and shout out to my grandmother. Gone, but not forgotten. You know what I'm saying? Gone too soon. You know what I'm saying? Love that girl, man. R.I.P. to that girl. But she put me on. I'll never forget listening to J.E. Heartbreak. And when it comes in, can't take another heartbreak. I'll never forget that as long as I live, kinfolk. You couldn't tell me that was the best type of music I've ever heard. But y'all want to argue that everything sounds the same. I'll tell you this. If you're gonna make something that sound as good as what sounds good to me, if that make any sense, then I'm gonna take it. You know what's overrated? I'm gonna say this. You know what's overrated? Diversity. In some arenas. Not all. Don't y'all Don't put a pin, act like I'm trying to tell you something that's crazy. But some things, it's almost like a fire peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Let's just keep it real basic. Kinfolk, you know what's really overrated? Crunchy peanut butter. There's nothing like creamy peanut butter with honey in it. And I'm not, this isn't a food talk here, but the point is, some things you don't need to switch up. Some stuff you don't need diversity. You just need to keep reproducing. All right, kinfolk, make a motor that goes in a car that, hey, this day you're gonna get 20 miles to the gallon, and then this day you're gonna get 20, and then this day you want even Steven consistency out of that. And that's the same thing when it comes to music, food, relationships. You want consistency. The real reason that Jagged Edge was never able to, because it was, where the party at and all that stuff, they was in their bag then. But let's be real, they was some hood niggas. They was getting in fights at shows. If they felt they was disrespected during the sound check, they checking niggas. They smoking weed in the back. They was really some Atlanta niggas that was just on what they was on, but made phenomenal music. I'm in the crates with them. But for y'all to act, but in my personal opinion, to act like Jodeci was just, I've listened to a lot of Jodeci. After about the fourth or fifth top song that they had, they all sound the same. That's just my opinion. Day 26, like I said, I know how people gonna be on what they on with that, but Day 26 is what it is. Like, they just came out with a new album that actually sounds pretty good, but I stand on my square with that. So if you got other groups, you tell me what it is. I know about a lot of groups. My old pastor, shout out to Ronnie Wayne, Pastor Ronnie Wayne, Dr. Ronnie Wayne, you know what I'm saying? He brought to my attention a few bangers that, groups like Mint Condition had. And he was right. I still stand on my square though. So if you have a favorite group, put it below. If you have a favorite group, put it below. But, and here's the thing too. I heard this argument, and I wonder what you guys think about this, right? Because you have the inception of AI, and it's making things easier, right? And for those people who are sorry and lazy, the only reason that AI can replace human beings in a real world is because humans don't want to do human things. They don't want to provide customer satisfaction. They don't want to, do the same thing repetitiously over and over again. And people, you got to find what you love, of course. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that with the inception of AI, when it comes to music, you absolutely are going to get artists that your voice, your feel is all going to get stolen. But it's only because guys don't really be putting the work in for real. So I personally want to show up with the same passion and zeal and zest and ability to do the work that nobody else wants to do. Prime example, I've seen pretty much people come in and out of here since I've started. I'm talking like I have a room full of people because the work don't do itself. So for you people who think that you got the great minds and you whatever, AI gonna take your job too. Because the first part of them being able to do that is you don't want to show up. And yes, still talking about music here. Kanye said that it's an AI album as far as the vocals and all of that stuff, but he still did all the production. AI relies on us to want to be lazy, to not want to do the work. The beauty of most things is the work. Building a 7-figure podcast for somebody who loves to talk or somebody who loves production, who loves to get in the paint, the beauty is the journey. Why do you think most people who are trust fund kids squander money and opportunities, go bankrupt, blow the money? Because they don't have nothing to work for or anything to work towards. So for an artist to turn down the ability to be an artist is actually quite egregious if you think about it. And here's the reality. Although AI could never really replace you, like really replace you, it's going to get really close. And I'm talking about in quality, in output, production, consistency, intention. So I just want to always be in love with the grind of something, not to make a life out of being a grinder, but it's something about late nights, early mornings, making mistakes with your audio and having to figure out how to fix it. Something going wrong and you having to troubleshoot it, problem solving. What's the point of being a problem solver if you have no problem to solve? Most great countries and kingdoms stop conquering, and that's why they end up losing it or, falling out of power. So at the end of the day, it's a reason that the Drakes of the world exist, the Kendricks of the world exist, even the Tyler, the Creators of the world exist. That kid put together a great album last year, and he's a grown man. But Tyler, the Creator, put out a fire album last year, bro. One that I'm still going to tap in with every so often. 50,000 on me, 20,000 on me, 100,000 on me. Like, you don't get that from having somebody else do the work for you, though. So, I digress. So, as I said on the last subject, before we get into the top 5 artists for me, favorite genre of music for me is R&B. My favorite 2 groups, well, 3. I'll throw 3: Jagged Edge, Day 26, Mint Condition. I like the Shies of the world. I love the Troops of the world. I love, Jodeci is cool. But like I said earlier, their music all still sounds the same to me as well. Just is what it is. So, with that being said, now I want to get into my top 5 artists. Now, when I say this is my all-time top 5 artists. And as I'm even about to say who these artists are, I think about other artists that I love, like that I really love. But I gotta be honest about music that I may have heard 1 or 2 songs that I really rock with, but I've not really sat with the music. For me, when I think about being an R&B lover and sitting with music, I know for a fact I've played Miguel songs and albums over and over and over and over. These lips can't wait to taste your skin, baby. No, I I've listened to that 1,000 times, literally. Ooh, never neglect you. Yeah, baby. Ooh. I've listened to that 1,000 times and 1,000 times over. That was the anthem of my life at one point. So, kick this thing off. One of my top 5 artists of all time, singers, for me, Miguel. Easy. What amazed me, one of the things that amazed me the most is if anybody knows about Marvin Gaye. One of the stories about Marvin Gaye is that he won I think it was Sexual Healing. I believe it was Sexual Healing. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Marvin Gaye made Sexual Healing laying down on a couch on his like tour bus or something. So when you hear all the runs and all the deep full notes and all of that stuff, the man was laying down with a microphone in his hand. Do you know how phenomenal of a singer you have to be? And they showed the video. You can literally like pull it up on like YouTube or something. He's just chilling, gifted to sing the way that he sings. So if you go listen to, I think it's Pineapple Skies. It's the Vivo Pineapple Skies. And it's just Miguel in a room. And it is very much reminding me of Marvin Gaye singing Sexual Healing, laying on a bus. Do you understand how gifted you have to be to do something like that? And I'm watching Miguel sing this song, and he's like literally leaned over, and it's all the trees. I mean, you can hear every note so clear. So Miguel, without question, and I wasn't even a big so I'm a Christian guy. I'm a believer in the Lord Jesus. You feel me? There was a large portion of my life where I didn't listen to any secular music whatsoever. For those of you who may have lived under a rock, secular doesn't mean evil. Secular just means I'm trying to think of the word for it actually. But anyway, I went about put it like this. The first 5 years of, not 5, I'm lying. The first maybe 3 years of Drake's career, I didn't really know he existed because I was on what I was on. I was in my bubble. So I was very late to Miguel's first album, Drake's, Thank Me Later. I was late to those because I wasn't listening to nothing secular at that time. So, I came around. All right, that's the bottom line. I came around. You know what I'm saying? So, my next artist. This is probably my all-time artist. And he's wrote for my probably, if I'm telling you my top 5, my 6th artist, and I would only say that because he's not active in making music. My top artist wrote for my 6th all-time artist. That would be Jamie Foxx is my 6th. If I had to say, I'm doing a 1 through 5 now, my 6th artist would be Jamie Foxx. One of the most talented men that has ever graced the earth. My number 1 artist, probably over, let's see, Miguel will probably be 3. My top artist is Tank. My top R&B artist of all time has to be Tank. You had rap artists referencing Sex, Love, and Pain. That's the first album. So Tank is absolutely that guy. Now, he's done some questionable things. He said some questionable things. you know, you're not gay if you did something one time. I don't even want to make reference to what he said. He's said some questionable things, but as a singer, baby, it's been a while. You can't top Tank, bro. Period. Sex, Love, and Pain is just goated as albums. People still make reference to it to this day. So we're going Tank off top. And he wrote for Jamie Foxx. Unpredictable. I just said him. So Jamie Foxx isn't in my top 5 only because he hasn't consistently made music, pretty much. And I feel like as an artist, because he got away from ballads and because he didn't write a lot of his stuff, it took away from who he was as an artist. But Jamie Foxx is probably my favorite entertainer all time. There's nobody more talented than Jamie Foxx. I don't care who they are. When it comes to the music, when it comes to the acting, comedy, like he's just that guy. So absolutely, I said that he would be number 6 for me only because he doesn't put out a lot of music. Unpredictable, you can't, man. I was that guy. At least up here, I was that guy when Unpredictable came out. You hear me? That's what my pastor be saying all the time. You hear me? You hear me? He was that guy for me. You know what I'm saying? So I said Miguel first. Miguel, that first album, I'm trying to think. Unpredictable would probably be the only album that I would say tops that first Miguel album. So anyway, so Miguel, Tank, those are my top 2. Third would be Usher. Without a doubt. What Usher has contributed, Confessions, 8701, ain't nobody really boxing with Usher like that. When I couldn't sing a lick, I was trying to sing Usher songs when I was like a preteen. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, Confession goes out in infamy. The only knock that I have against Usher is that you didn't give us a part 2 to Confessions. Like, we should have absolutely got a Confessions part 2. You and JD should have gotten in the studio and cooked up. So Usher, he's Usher. What can I say? You know, now my personal, and this is just honorable mentions because he's not really a singer, but R. Kelly. Yes. I can't throw Robert Kelly in there only because, you know what I'm saying? I can't throw Robert Kelly in there, and I love him. Chocolate Factory, 12 Play 2, TP2, 12 Play. I should have absolutely not been listening to 12 Play, but I was listening to 12 Play. Like, I think they had that's when VHSs were still popping. My auntie had the actual him performing 12 Play, like the whole album somewhere. And we was really looking at this as kids, and I didn't know what was going on, but I like it. I liked it a lot. So yes, you are right. So if I'm creating an honorable mention or a Jamie Foxx and R. Kelly are absolutely in the second tier, not because R. Kelly doesn't deserve to be up there, but I just can't put him there. R. Kelly would have looked at somebody and licked his lips. I can't go with it. You know what I'm saying? But just his music, yes, you're right though. When it comes to just music, he is absolutely unmatched. Can't argue with you there. Yeah. So number 4 for me. Number 4. We got Miguel, we got Tank, we got Usher. And so first of all, do you agree with these? Would these be considered in any of your top artists when it comes to R&B? What I hope you will hear from my list, bro, you don't gotta like all of my stuff, my G. Just, it's cool, bro. I'm gonna check out your stuff. Chill out. You're doing a lot, my guy. I am a vocalist. My people gotta be vocalists. You gotta be able to sing, wake and fresh up out of the bed in the morning. Not shower singer. You need to be able to sing before you go to the shower. So anyway, my 4th artist, Joe. What people don't know is that Joe has wrote more hits for people than he's wrote for himself. Nah, that's why I'm drinking this now. Because, going live every day sound cool in theory, but it's really I really kind of hear something. It don't sound the same. But I was singing some stuff earlier, honestly, before you hopped on here for real. I was just kind of giving I was kind of giving a little preview. But anyway, yes, Joe. Joe, yeah, dog. I'm trying to think. You know how people put you on the spot. They be like, "Sing something." You be like, "Nah." You get all shy. Nah, just I ain't shy. But I'm trying to think of how the song started. The one where he was doing them push-ups, and that woman was drinking out of that water fountain. He comes started tongue kissing that woman at the water fountain. I was like, "This nigga raunchy." But I thought that's music and movies shaped my life. I always tell people that. I thought I was supposed to do that to somebody at the water fountain when I was younger. Cause I seen Joe do it in a video, or it might have been Chico the Barge. Anyway, I digress. But anyway, my top 4 so far: Tank, Usher, and this is probably gonna be my order: Tank, Usher, Miguel, Joe, and my last one would probably, not even probably, is Musiq Soulchild. Musiq Soulchild is just like that. One of my favorite Musiq Soulchild songs that people don't even know about is You'll Be Alright. You'll Be Alright. And that mug, come on, it's all live. So many people who want to search to find within a days for that place, within their minds to hide. Yeah. Say, dog, come on. He's that guy. Musiq Soulchild? Come on, bro. So those are my top 5s for sure. Thanks for making me a mod. Did I send it to you? I was trying to make sure I sent it. Did I send it for real? Because now you got me tripping. Because I know I had to do it before. Let me know if I actually, because I can't remember if I put it in. I was moving around. You can do it? All right, we'll do it. Because you said thanks for making me a mod. I'm like, because I was like, I think I got to add you to my StreamYard. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But anyway, just to recap for you guys. Okay, bet. So, just to recap for you guys. I started this off by talking about Kanye. Because Kanye came out saying he was autistic, right? And I'm going to say this exactly the way that I want to say it because I'm going to say it this way. The funny thing is that his second white wife said, I know people who are bipolar. You're not bipolar, you're autistic. The most interesting duality about Kanye is the fact that he actually said that he was going to get rich and leave you for a white girl. And he did it. That's the most diabolical thing I've ever. It's like, and he like real life, plain Jane, regular, degular, schmegular white girls. Respect. I just respect the fact that you did what you said you was going to do. Am I okay with it? No. Ain't nothing like the sisters. But do your thing, my boy. You go off. And so at the end of the day, I think my closing point on Kanye was where he went wrong is that he stopped being a transcendent artist. You can talk about all the things in the world as far as like, you can talk about anything in the world as far as like building cities and, being a clothing designer and making shoes. All that stuff is dope, right? That's the next level of like after you've cemented yourself as whatever your skill set is. But the moment that you stop making dope music that translates to us is where you gonna really where he end up losing. I mean, you can name any college dropout, graduation. I forgot the other one. It's another one in that three piece. For some people, My Dark Twisted Fantasy, all like 808s and Heartbreak, like Kanye at some point stopped being able to translate in the way that resonated with us. And to me, that is my biggest knock for any artist. You can't never forget about your core fan base. And so for me, like when I think about somebody like Drake or Kendrick, rather, because Drake always been the same type of artist. If you are somebody who loves Kendrick and you go back and you remember like Section 80, if I was being honest, I wasn't like, or what was the first one? It was actually before Section 80. It's called like Overly Dedicated, I think. If you listen to Overly Dedicated and you listen to Section 80, it's the exact same artist, the exact same music. He was on his Hebrew Israelite stuff then. But I think what allowed him to really go to the next level was Good Kid, Mad City. That's what I loved. And I didn't even get on Good Kid, Mad City until after it was popular with everybody else. Meaning like everybody was on them, so I was off them. I'm like that with a bunch of stuff. I remember jean jackets. Like, I don't know, for any of you who remember, if I'm 37, so if you anybody that's like 34 and up, you probably remember the jean jacket era, right? I was never into jean jackets when everybody was into jean jackets. I was never into skinny ties when everybody was into skinny ties. I wasn't into skinny jeans when niggas was into skinny jeans. Like, that's just always been me. I'm not gonna say I'm a contrarian. I just pay attention, and it's like, you know what I really thought about is, man, niggas really, the groups or the crowd, like my thing with the crowd was like, nigga, the crowd said crucify Jesus. So I always really thought like there's no reason for me to go with the crowd, because the crowd is like, the crowd ain't for what's maybe right sometimes. So I feel like Kanye started really losing the battle, not because he was bipolar or he was autistic. It's like how she said earlier, it's a lot of Negroes that's on the spectrum. And ain't no disrespect to that. Like, it's a lot of people that we walk around and work with, family members with, that are on the spectrum for sure. But the problem is, we know them for always being one way. We knew Kanye for being a genius. We knew Kanye for being innovative. We knew Kanye for being a dope producer. Kanye said he will make 5 beats a day for the whole summer. Kanye ain't doing that no more. So now it's something about being in pursuit of your 10,000 hours as a human being, as an artist, wherever you may be. It's something about being in pursuit of your 10,000 hours that resonates. It's something about, okay, Anthony, you're a speaker, go speak, nigga. Like, go speak. When you're at your job, when you're on YouTube, when you're in a group, when you are in pursuit of it, it translates. So my final thing about Kanye is, when Kanye stopped doing what made him great to us in the first place, he lost his way with us. That's just us as a human being. If TD Jakes stopped going in that pulpit and being motivational to his people, I ain't somebody for me. I think he is an amazing speaker, one of the greatest of all time. But the moment that he doesn't motivate the people, when he does, the moment that he doesn't allow the word to transcend the way you think, is the moment that he should step away, because that means he's not doing the work anymore. And Kanye got too inflated for his own good, and he lost the ability to allow us to dream with him. I think somewhere along the way, Kanye thought that he was bigger than the program. You never are bigger than the program. Which then brought me to GNX, which is Kendrick's last album. I've never been a huge Kendrick fan. I thought Good Kid, Mad City was a good album. My point was this last album, GNX, I actually thought it was pretty solid. Where at first I thought it was trash and I was never going to listen to it again. People who have listened to me on TikTok or when I, would do stuff with my boy Cash, you would hear me be very critical of him, of Kendrick. I got nothing to say about that album besides, niggas, stop trying to sound like Tupac. Stop bringing him up all the time because it's weird. Other than that, go off, my boy. We're going to see what you're going to do at this concert tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, the Super Bowl is tomorrow, Eagles versus the Chiefs. I hope the Chiefs win. I hope the Eagles win because if the Chiefs win, I made a bet with one of my partners, a $500 bet, and this was like before they won the second Super Bowl, so they done reeled off 2 in a row, of course. I made a bet that it's almost impossible for people to win at the clip that the Chiefs have been doing. So I'm going with the numbers that somebody going to get hurt, a coach going to leave, whatever. This nigga Patrick Mahomes just won't stop being great. So whatever. So anyway, if he wins tomorrow, this is his 4th Super Bowl, which puts my partner 1 win closer to winning that $500 from me. So I'm hoping them niggas lose. That's my only reason. Other than that, go off. But anyway, see, look, now I went down my rabbit hole and I forgot what I was saying. But I think I was talking about Kendrick performing at the Super Bowl. Yes, there we go. At the end of the day, Kendrick is a great performer. Kendrick is a great artist. But I just have not been a fan of the music that he's put out. I think you're trying to free the slaves too much for me. I'm like, once again, when I listen to music, I want to enjoy this music. I don't want to tell niggas, man, you got to listen. When you listen to it backwards, he's telling you a different message than when you listen to it forward. Nigga, I don't care. I really don't care. And so that just doesn't resonate with me. But this album is actually pretty fire. So we moving along. My question was, for those of you who may like Drake or those who may know anything that's been going on, Kendrick essentially won a Grammy off of a song that he spent 3 verses dissecting and destroying Drake. Personally, I don't think we should give people kudos for doing things at the expense of other human beings. Not because I think it's this super moral high ground to take, but it's like, if I built something, I may be inspired by another person, right? But for me to like essentially say, hey, I stole his plans, and this isn't a what for what comparison, but it's like me saying that I stole John. I mean, what's the dude that made this? This is gonna be a stupid question. Who was the dude who made peanut butter? Is it Carver? What's his name? Now I'm gonna have to Google this. If you know, put it in the comments. I feel like, is it Washington Carver? I ain't no historian. Okay, so that was right. I thought I said the name wrong. My bad. So George Washington Carver was an architect, right? A scientist, all of this good stuff. That would be like me stealing his plans and then building what he drew out and put the work into and then winning an award for it. It's like, yeah, I did it at the expense of this man, though. And that's the thing. That's the only thing that I can't stand about all the criticism that Drake has took. It's like, yeah, this nigga won a Grammy talking about me. That's not spectacular. That's not special to me. The album is fire, though. So at the end of the day, I think that concerning Drake, I pretty much said, I don't believe that Drake's career is over. He's about to drop an album on Valentine's Day with Party Next Door. He's dropped a couple snippets. They're fire. 9 times out of 10, Drake is going to come back with a #1 album because he's not going nowhere. It is what it is. So good luck to y'all. Moving on. And then we got into, so I'm gonna get back. I'm just recapping. So the last thing, because whoever is in here probably was in here when I was talking about the favorite, my top 5 R&B artists. But lastly, before we get out of here, I have 2 to 3 of my favorite R&B groups. Now y'all can tell me what y'all favorite R&B groups is. I ain't gonna hate, but I will keep it real. So my top, and for people who may know me, my favorite R&B group of all time is Jagged Edge. It's not close. But their knock is that people say, and here's the issue, right? This is, like I said earlier, I feel like sometimes black culture is like high school. Because number one, it's like if somebody says something, everybody runs with it. That's number one. And that could be a good thing or a bad thing. But then number two, it's like it almost is no more original thoughts no more, because whatever you say, you feel like everybody's supposed to believe that. In my honest opinion, I've never thought that Jagged Edge's music all sounds alike. But for whatever the reason, that's what niggas always go to. And I remember playing cards or dominoes or something, had a little hookah going, it was a little vibe. And on multiple occasions, and listening to Jodeci. And after about the 3rd song, I was like, nigga, is this begging, or is this, like, these songs all sound the same? But niggas will swear up and down that Jagged Edge is the most unoriginal group. I'm like, them niggas wrote all their own music. Jermaine Dupri never takes credit for their writing because he didn't write for them. So it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. It ain't even a big deal. The bottom line is, if you're gonna give a knock to Jagged Edge for the music that they put out, you better do the same thing for Jodeci, because them niggas did the same thing. And the only reason that y'all really love Jodeci the way y'all do is because they was the first niggas to come out with the Timberland boots and the all black, and they look like niggas who just walk around the hallways at your local high school singing. Because if we being honest, as great as Boyz II Men was, they didn't look like that. Them niggas all look like they went to school with Carlton. They could sing like no other. I'm gonna give you credit for that. But Jodeci made R&B music look cool. Anybody who talks about their love of Jodeci is gonna talk about how them niggas dress. Them niggas had the dope haircuts. They were just cool looking niggas. Not that they couldn't sing. So I just think niggas be hypocritical, and I'm gonna stop because I'm starting to say the N-word too much, and I be trying to get better about that. But anyway, and to round this all off, top 5 R&B group. My top 5 R&B singers of all time: Miguel, Tank, Usher, Music Soul Child, and Joe. If y'all got some, y'all put them in the chat. Just so we can get some housekeeping. This, once I move it to the studio, I need to get some other stuff built out in the studio. But once I move it to the studio, this will be, or my desire is to make the late night shift, a live streaming show, and then it'll just go up on YouTube, after it's done coming through StreamYard. It'll be more structured, and it'll be more things it'll be different topics. It'll be more like daily news. But what I want to do, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I know a little bit about a lot. Not, that sometimes that ain't a good thing, because you don't really master something sometimes. But I know a little bit about a lot, and I feel like I can be very objective about most topics. And so, we talked about DEI last night. Today is music. Tomorrow it could be something else. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends. But a lot of the time, that's why it's good for me to still be locked in on different things that are going on in the news and stuff like that, because I can automatically formulate an opinion on what I see that is very very down the middle. And I believe like in our culture, like when we were talking about the DEI stuff yesterday, we ain't gonna get into it like that. But I feel like a lot of the times we just take it. It's like being on social media and seeing it's a 5-minute video. You watch the first 30 seconds and formulate your opinion. Most of us are very uninformed about what we speak on. And so what I want to do for this platform, especially in particular, is to be able to formulate an opinion that is based off of a solid, genuine knowledge of what we're talking about, or at least an objective standpoint. I always will welcome people to join the show. And if you have expertise, if you know more about something, I'm not trying to gatekeep you. I want us to get in the weeds about whatever it may be. I ain't no hater. So with that being said, if there's nothing else, if our hearts and minds are clear, and let me make sure. Hold on, let me make sure I did tap on all the other topics from earlier. Who really won? Brands, man, and a white woman. I think that's it. All right. Well, thank you to my faithfuls who show up. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Y'all are invaluable. Brittany, you have to tell me how you just did that too. Because I thought I had to jump through some hoops for real. How did you make yourself a moderator? That's the question. Because I'm thinking that's supposed to be something I kind of have a hand in or something. So how did you make yourself a moderator real fast? If you still on here, I'm not saying you still on here, but if you are, can you tell me how you did that? And you didn't do it. Okay, so that's what. Okay. So I do got to go into the settings. I got to add you. I got to do like I add you to my, and I can't do it from here. Hold on, let me see. Nah, it's too late. I'm gonna do it as soon as I get off of here. I got your email, so I'm gonna add you in there. But anyway, man, y'all know how we end the shows. We're gonna pray before we get out of here. You know what I'm saying? We talk how we talk, but we still love the Lord. You feel me? So we're gonna pray and then we're gonna get out of here. So whoever that is who just hopped off of here because we about to pray, you going to hell. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Don't damn him to hell, Lord. I'm just playing. I'm just joking. Anyway, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time of fellowship. We thank you for having healthy conversations, Lord. This is very different, but I'm appreciative, and I want people to always know that no matter how big, no matter how consistent the platform may be or grow to, that you are always the reason for it. I'm thankful for this time. I'm thankful for anybody who stops their head in to take interest in anything that I have to say. I thank you that you're a good God, that you see us, you search high and low, and there's nowhere that we can go that your love don't find us. Lord, I pray that at any moment that there would be somebody that would hear something that would spark their minds to ask, what must they do to be saved? I pray that we will be unashamed of your gospel. I pray that we will be comfortable going into places that don't look like you and us looking like you. And so I bless you and thank you for this time. I pray, Lord, that if there's anybody driving, safe travels for them as they're going and they're coming. I pray that they would find them a good church home, oh God, to sit down and be a part of your word, to take it in, to build community. And we just bless you and thank you for who you are. I thank you for the doors that you're opening and the ways that you're making. Purify our hearts and touch our souls, Lord. Fill us with your Holy Spirit that we may never be the same. Watch over our children, every single one of them. And I pray, Lord, that we would be the godly examples that our children need to look and represent you in a world that doesn't look and represent you the way that it should. Help us as believers, help us as men and women, and Lord, help us as people who follow after your creeds and what you put on earth to walk out in the Great Commission. So I bless you and thank you, Lord. I thank you for this time. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. We're going to pray every time, kinfolk. It is what it is. As we end the show always, I love you. We love you. May the Lord keep you. We'll see you at the conference, kinfolk. Peace.